Who are the people we need to kick out of society? Let's find out, starting with number 5, gas station meat market. Surveillance cameras caught footage of Ayanna Marie Knight and another female accomplice acting wildly inappropriate with a man they didn't know at a Shell gas station. The video showed one of the women twerking against the uncomfortable male customer while another woman kept touching him. The man, who didn't appear to initiate the interaction, walked away from the first woman to talk on his phone, but the second woman refused to leave him alone. The scantily clad women approached the victim, who didn't want his identity released since he's a teacher, and wouldn't leave him alone. Knight also tried to smooch him and rub his back, even though the guy was clearly uncomfortable with the whole thing. The guy even asked a store employee for help, but the clerk wasn't in the helping mood for whatever reason. The wild thing about the whole interaction was that the victim also noticed that a couple of men were lingering outside the gas stations, which meant that if he didn't handle this right, there could be trouble. Afraid for his safety and scared he was going to get shot, the man didn't know what to do. Law enforcement posted the video of the interaction on YouTube to get the public's help identifying the women. While some commenters made fun of the situation because it's weird and apparently entirely appropriate in the 80s comedies, others pointed out how serious the crime was, as the man felt violated. With the help of the public, the police identified and tracked down Knight. So eventually, the women were arrested and charged after a tip-off from the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington, D.C. We don't know exactly what these women were trying to do, drum up some business or something, but whatever it was, it obviously didn't twerk. Number 4, old school bribery. The court dismissed a would-be juror in a high-profile Minneapolis fraud trial after someone dropped off a Hallmark bag containing $120,000 to her home. Juror 52's father-in-law was at the house when a woman of Somali descent dropped off the bag. As well as the cash, the gift bag contained a note promising even more money if Juror 52 voted to acquit. Inside the bag were rolls of 20s, 50s, and $100 bills. The bribe arrived at her home on a Sunday evening, a few hours before she was supposed to be in court to hear closing remarks for the case the next day. But rather than accept the money, she did the smart thing and immediately reported the delivery to the police. When law enforcement learned of the bribe, the police arrested all 7 defendants in the fraud case and led them out of the courtroom in handcuffs. The case was over a conspiracy that involved defrauding taxpayers out of almost $250 million in illegally obtained pandemic relief funds, which is apparently what everyone else did during the pandemic while we just sat at home snacking and thinking about such things as why cromulent is an actual word that doesn't sound like what it means. But funner isn't an actual word, but everyone understands it and uses it anyway. We were bored. Anyway, the defendants had allegedly ran their scam under the guise of the Minneapolis nonprofit Feeding Our Future and supposedly stole over $40 million in funds set aside to feed hungry children during the pandemic. According to an FBI affidavit, it was very likely that someone with access to Juror 52's personal information conspired with the person who delivered the bribe. U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson ripped the bribery attempt in court, referring to the behavior as outrageous and saying that it was like something out of a movie. U.S. District Judge Nancy Brassel sequestered the jurors for the rest of the trial. The other 17 jurors and alternates said on record that they didn't receive any bribes related to the trial. The defendants were the first 70 people to face the legal ramifications of their involvement in the $250 million scheme. What would you have done in that juror's situation, though? Obviously, the smart thing to do is hand the money over and keep yourself from landing in jail. And serious respect to her for doing that and maintaining the integrity of the courts. But that was a lot of money in cash just handed over, and she could have kept it and acquitted these people and no one would know. Also, as far as we know, it was just a PPP scam case, not like someone passing away or something, you know? So what would you do? Keep it? Turn it in? Tell us in the comments below. Number 3, the Hall of Shame. In February 2024, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York charged some workers with the New York City Housing Authority, known as the NYCHA, in the largest single-day bribery takedown in the Justice Department's history. 70 current and former employees of the NYCHA, the nation's biggest public housing authority, collectively accepted $2 million in bribes to secure work contracts at their properties. The employees participated in a classic pay-for-play corruption scheme and accepted thousands of dollars of bribes along the way. While Dworka Rupnaran served as the superintendent for 3 separate Bronx housing projects, he received almost $85,000 in bribes from over $500,000 worth of contracts between 2007 and 2022. He filled his social media with snaps of himself on lavish vacations where he lounged on beaches with his family, cheered with glasses of champagne, and smiled in front of major landmarks in Venice and Rome. According to his Facebook profile, he also loved luxury European sports cars and taking bribes. Am I right? While serving as groundskeeper and superintendent from 2016 to 2024, Rigoberto Cheriez pocketed at least $70,000 from almost $400,000 in contracts at 6 separate housing projects. A year before being charged, the 34-year-old was accepted to participate in NYCHA's Coaching and Mentorship Leadership Academy. The 16-week program aimed to enhance leadership and management skills through mentorship. Naimia Branch was working as a superintendent at 2 Brooklyn housing projects when he pocketed $3,000 in bribes from $22,000 worth of contracts. The former NYCHA hero, who was previously praised for his dedication and contributions during the COVID-19 crisis, was photographed being loaded into a police vehicle alongside other defendants. Alex Tolazano profited with at least $41,000 from $205,000 worth of contracts while he served as a Bronx superintendent. It wasn't the first time Tolazano was in hot water at work. In 2022, he was in the middle of a work-related video conference call when the face of a woman suddenly appeared on his video feed. Moments later, Tolazano accidentally revealed that he had been in his birthday suit the whole time. Oops! Elizabeth Tapia took $11,000 in bribes across $66,000 worth of contracts while she served as a superintendent in Brooklyn. Like Tolazano, it wasn't the first time she faced controversy at work. In 2022, she was suspended for 15 days after confessing to approving the timesheets of her domestic partner, who she supervised without official authorization. According to court records, she had reassigned her partner's work to give him a better schedule, which sucks, but doesn't that happen at every job? Henry McFadder made over $15,000 from contracts worth $90,000. Similarly to his coworkers, it wasn't the first time he was in trouble at work. In 2020, McFadder faced an 8-day suspension after admitting to charging a subordinate $50 to review a resume on his work computer, which is like, dude, seriously? You're charging someone that much just to look at a resume? We'd feel weird charging for something like that, but apparently we're super nice. 49-year-old Juan Mercado received over $300,000 in bribes from at least $1.7 million in contracts between 2014 and 2023. Okay, so it looks here like it almost seems like the entire NYCHA is corrupt, right? It seems like they're always in the news for taking bribes. But it's New York, so that's just expected, right? Do you live in New York City? Did you deal with any of this? Tell us in the comments below. Number 2, not under the boardwalk. Alicia Razzo jumped into the ocean to escape the police after engaging in intimate relations on a popular pier in Florida on Memorial Day. Razzo and Zadok Westfield might not have realized that their intimate moment was much more public than they anticipated. The pair were being physical on Florida's Naples Pier when police received several calls from people complaining that the couple were being intimate behind a locked gate with a no trespassing sign. One witness was at the beach with her kids and her friends' kids, who ranged in age from 7 to 15. The group could clearly see Razzo and Westfield during the horizontal bop, or the vertical bop in this case. Well, definitely some kind of bop. Anyway, Naples police officer Matthew Blomquist responded to the call and went to arrest the couple. Officer Blomquist suspected that Razzo was going to jump off the pier, as if she's the fugitive or something, ask your dad, to make her escape and warned her not to. Of course, she ignored him. So the 20-year-old attempted her escape by jumping into the Gulf of Mexico and swimming northeast towards the beach. Beach patrol caught her as she got out of the water, while Westfield, who was totally unclothed, stayed at the pier and cooperated with police. He explained that the two had swam to the end of the pier and climbed to the top. They intended to jump off it, but got slightly slightly distracted. Officers arrested the pair and charged them with trespassing and breach of peace, while Razzo received an additional charge of resisting an officer. And really, what was her plan jumping off the pier? How far did she think she was going to swim? And did she really think that the cop was going to be just like, well, she's swimming pretty far and I am hungry? And seriously, doing that in full view of kids? Get out of here with that. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to stay right on this video to learn how this guy only made one mortgage payment in 23 years. Number 1. Miss Inappropriate. Arkansas teacher Regan Gray groomed a 15-year-old at her church and sent him inappropriate photos daily. Gray volunteered at Emmanuel Baptist Church in Little Rock, one of Arkansas's biggest churches, where she met the teenage boy. The pair met when Gray was teaching at Little Rock Christian Academy, where the victim was a member of the student ministry. Everything began in 2020 when Gray found his cell phone number through a group chat for the church's music program. The boy's parents discovered a series of inappropriate text messages between their son and the 26-year-old teacher. They confronted Gray and told the church's head pastor, Stephen Smith. Smith addressed the matter with Gray and suspended her from the student ministry. She denied that her relationship with the boy was inappropriate, and nobody called the police. Because, of course they didn't. Instead, the church sent her for counseling, and Smith matched Gray with his wife, Ashley, who would serve as her accountability partner. Weeks after completing counseling, the church welcomed her back. However, Gray immediately contacted her victim and contacted him via Snapchat. Apparently, Ashley wasn't a very good accountability partner, or the idea was stupid and Gray needed to be locked up. Anyway, Gray coerced the boy into meeting up with her in her car or apartment. The teacher bombarded him with more inappropriate pictures and requested that he send her some back. Smith didn't contact the police until a counseling session where Gray admitted that the relationship was of an inappropriate nature and that she continued it after her suspension. The church contacted the police, and the boy confirmed to FBI investigators that the pair had intimate relations between 5 and 10 times. The victim said that Gray only performed certain acts as she didn't want to stop him from being pure. Well, there's some mental gymnastics. By the time the police investigation occurred, Gray was a teacher at Sylvan Hills Middle School in Sherwood. After learning of the investigation, the Pulaski County Special School District suspended her contract. Eventually, Gray turned herself into police custody and was freed on $20,000 bail. She faced a single felony charge, according to her attorney, denied the charge, and planned to clear her name. The ordeal caused extreme distress to worshipers at the 128-year-old church, which over 1,000 people attended. Smith resigned from his post and was replaced by interim executive pastor Mark Carter, who attempted to comfort the traumatized church. To watch one of these next videos, let us know in the comments section what you'd rather have to do: go vegan for 6 months or spend 3 nights in jail.